Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The run-in is heating up. The form has been good since you've last seen us. We've played a couple of games off camera, as we said we would every now and then. The good news is we're currently sitting in third, and we're not too far off the top, but it is tight. The playoff positions all separate each other by about 1 or 2 points. So as you can see, the form's not been too bad. We obviously, in the last episode, you saw us go through to the 4th round of the FA Trophy. We then went on and beat Spennymoor 2-1 at home. We did then draw our next 2 games, so 2-2 and 1-1. We then went on and beat Buxton 1-0 at home. It gets rid of the fixture congestion, right? So we then lost 2-0 in the FA Trophy in the 4th round, which not too disappointed in. There's not a lot of money in the FA Trophy. I'll show you the finances of the club in a moment. And then we won 4-0 against Peterborough Sports. Westendorf got a hat-trick, so hopefully where Parker starts to fall off, Westendorf comes on. As Westendorf starts to fall off, Parker comes on. Who knows? It seems to be the tail of the tape with regards to the 2 strikers. I bring you back for the Macclesfield game now. Reason we're coming back to the Macclesfield game is they are actually sitting second. So we're 4 points off second, 5 points off top of the league. And then in terms of obviously the playoff positions, we are 3 points off from dropping down to that 8th position. So we're starting to get a little bit of a buffer. We can win the league. That would be an absolutely amazing achievement in our first season here at Oxford City. But we'll see how things go. We're here for the Macclesfield game. And then what I'll do is I'll probably bring you back for the Leamington game. I think they're the next highest in terms of games that we've got. But without further ado, let's get straight into the Macclesfield game and hopefully close that position to second. This is our starting lineup. Very similar from what we've seen in the last few episodes now. We've really started to home in our first choice 11. Unfortunately, Jack Birney picked up a partially torn thigh in that last game against Peterborough Sports. The only bit of disappointment coming away from that game, right? He's been an absolute hero for us on the right. One of our main players that we can sort of rely on to really get that distance, get them balls into the box. But unfortunately, you know, these things happen. We had to suffer a massive injury crisis at the back, so I suppose only time will tell if that carries on. The good news is Aliki is almost back. Aliki's only going to be out for another 2 to 5 weeks, and then we are going to shore that midfield position up again. So hopefully, let's all pray to the FM gods, no more injuries moving forward, and we can have a really good running. Let's get straight into it. We're just going to say carry on from that last game. Again, the usual bit of faith into the players. We still do this. We still want them to know that we believe in them. They can do what we want them to do, and they can do it well. But this will be a good test. Second versus third. A kickoff straight from the highlight straight from the kickoff I was meant to say there, but hey, we know what I was saying. As you can see, we've tinkered and we've been tinkering the last few games, and obviously probably going back 2 or 3 episodes, we started tinkering to really try and maximise our possession, but without losing that winger threat and that counter-attacking threat. I do like to rely on the wingers because they are some of the best players in the club. Ashby with the ball in from the corner. Clark picks up the loose ball from the punch. Oh, just over the bar. That would have been a typical Clark goal if that went in. He does like to score the extraordinary. He doesn't score often, but when he does, they are usually highlight reel worthy. But I hope you've obviously been enjoying the series so far. I've been having an absolute whale of a time, to be honest, with Oxford City. Really enjoying it. Really enjoying sort of building something special here with the team. Getting them to follow in with the instructions specifically, and it's been paying off, right? We're currently third in the league. And that line kit, every time I see it, I get more and more tempted just to pick one up, just because it is a beautiful kit. This isn't a good though. Oh, luckily their 2 strikers were just not communicating with each other. Knocked it down into the other one, but he couldn't do nothing. Hunt now on Clark. Back to Hunt. Yeah, and then that's the end of the highlight. Fair enough. We've got to encourage them. Like I said, if we can pick up the 3 points today, that will do wonders for our season. Hopefully the chasing pack as well below us can all lose or draw. And it just gives us a little bit of light between us and the bottom of the playoff positions. Currently in the league table, it does mean we are still third, but we do go level on points with Spennymoor, how it's been stand. He said that now, we could be going below Spennymoor. We've got a highlight in our half. Nelson here. There's too much space from there. We're not closing down, but Chris reads that all day long. I'm so glad we bought Camis when we had the opportunity to. I say bought, it was a free agent, but brought him into the club. It was a decision that was definitely worthwhile, rather than relying on that lone goalkeeper, who, even if we improved a lot, wouldn't have been ours. Whether we go up or not, we want to make sure the keeper is someone that we can build on and carry on improving, and then if we need to, sell him for a pretty penny. Hunt wins the ball. Into Johnson, though. Hunt to Clark. Clark's looking for the switch, but Westendorf just isn't on the same page. As usual, obviously, he doesn't jump for it, as we know. Straight back down to us here. Nelson with the delivery in. Oh, Hunt's got out jump there. He's got to be doing a bit better than that. To be fair, he was turned away from the ball, but that's more his defensive positioning than anything else. Yeah, he's just been out jumped, and Camus very much just beaten, unfortunately, at the post. Not many goalkeepers are going to save that, unfortunately. Can we get a goal before the end of the first half? McEachran, Ruddy, Francis, and that's all she wrote for the first half. Okay, well, we have been mainly a second half team. We are going to say we're in the position that we deserve. We need to be doing better than that. Question is, do we make any changes? Oh, Lawson's having a bad game. Surprise, surprise. McEachran's having a bad game as well, which is unlike him. You can see these two not really performing. Westendorf as well. It's caused us a little bit of problems at the back. Maybe we will bring on Parker. Again, they go off the boil so quickly, strikers. I need to find a prolific striker in the summer. That's the one thing that we're missing, I feel like, from this team. A prolific striker would arguably... Still want to play him. I'm going to change him to a winger. Why? I don't know. I'm going to change him to a tracking winger as well. The reason I'm putting him as a winger is I want them to get the balls in the box for Parker. Right, let's just make that change. Get the second half underway. Nothing highlight as usual from kick-off. I don't know why we ever see them highlights, if I'm honest. If it's absolutely nothing, don't bother showing me. I mean, I'm bothered about seeing 3 passes and then all of a sudden the highlight ending. Luckily, cameras seem to have had that red. I'm going to encourage the lads again. Let's change that from whipped. I'm going to change it to low crosses. Also, I'm going to take off the patience a little bit. Let's try and get that ball into some more dangerous positions without having to have a slowed attack when we're getting near the box. 60 minutes played. Still 0-0. I was going to say we're going to give another shout, but let's see what happens here. Johnson wins it beautifully. Literally takes it off his head. Ruddy. It's getting closed. You got to pass back. Why are you not passing back there? There was no ball on there. We concede from this. Oh. That was lucky. I'm going to change this to positive. We need to be sort of going out there and getting the ball that little bit more. So far, we're getting overrun, and I don't really see how. We're in the same formation. We're just not wanting it enough. The players for Macclesfield are clearly more hungry for this win than we are at the moment. Can we get that spark that's going to reignite the game? Not with passing it around the back like this. We're not. We are 1-0 down, by the way, guys. We're not winning 1-0. Francis, long ball over the top. Absolutely no one's there. But Parker picks up a loose ball. Come on, Josh Parker. Come on. That's the reason why we brought him on. If one's not performing, get the other one on. I mean, I was going to say, lovely ball from Francis, but he's just lucky. He's lucky that the defender's not dealt with that very well at all. Parker's picked it up and as calm as you like, smashed it into the roof of the net. Okay, we're back in it. Now, we need to capitalise. The momentum shift is with us. Let's see what we can do. A draw isn't a terrible result, right? They're second, we're third. It's not terrible. But a win, and that's the result we want, obviously. Classic Michael Owen for you there again. Lawson. He needs to start improving because he's not been very... Again, he's another one. He's either off the ball. What are we doing here? We've got acres of space to pass that. Anywhere else. Johnson reads it well. Get rid of it. All of that, saying it was the match was in our momentum. And it was for nothing. We're not even going to watch it again. I'm disappointed. Encourage them. I mean, we got back in it by a fluky goal. Let's not kid ourselves. We've not been the better team here. We're fairly even on stats, but we've not been playing the way that we can be playing. I was going to change it to attacking, but let's just see what happens here. Another long ball over the top. Maybe we need to be looking at that defensive line then, boys. Teams are starting to see where we're playing. Gets in between the centre-back and the right-back. Or the centre-back and the left-back, sorry. No one's covering him. Camus obviously can't do much about it. So not a good result. That will drop us down because it looks like everyone else is winning. We could have gone from 3rd all the way down to 7th at this rate. Now, let's not concede again. Surely not. Right, Rudy picks up the loose ball. Gets rid of the danger. Lawson just does nothing. He does nothing. This is the problem. Beanie was the main man. Lawson's been absolutely awful since joining us. And I have no other left wingers. That is disappointing. Considering how we've been playing, that is very disappointing. It drops us down to 5th. That means there is quite a big point gap now between us and Buxton at the top. Well, Macclesfield and Buxton. We dropped down to 44 points, only 2 points above playoffs. We weren't good enough in that game. I'm going to tell the defenders as well. I'm furious because that was not good at all. So, after that bitterly disappointing result, plan is still going to be bring us back to Leamington. I'm going to play these ones off camera, bring us back to the Leamington Spa game. Of course, if anything else changes in the meantime, or if the form really starts to dip, maybe I'll bring you back to South Shields so we can see us hopefully claw back the mountain. But hopefully this one-off result isn't going to be a problem. We haven't lost in the league since we lost 1-0 on the 22nd of November. So we have gone over a month, or just under 2 months, of being unbeaten in the league. So hopefully that doesn't knock the spirit too much. But like I said, I'll bring you back to either the South Shields or the Leamington game. So as you can see, following on from that Macclesfield game, we have managed to win our next 2 league games. I was a little bit worried at first because we only managed to win that with an own goal, and I was thinking, oh, here we go. The attacking players who have been so prolific are now going to start to go off the boil. But we did managed to beat Hereford away 2-1 and actually score goals ourselves, which is obviously good news. Braden Daniel and Zach McEachram. Braden Daniel actually got a goal and an assist, and he come on at half-time. Changed the game for us, arguably. So what we might actually do is move Clark out to the left and have Braden Daniel start on the right moving forward, because, like I said, I've not been happy with Lawson. But I wanted to bring you back to the South Shields game. Like I said, Leamington actually have been in quite bad form recently. They've dropped to pretty much the exact same level as South Shields. So realistically, we're seeing the exact same level of opponent, and I don't think we've actually seen us play South Shields yet in the series. Pretty much unchanged starting 11 apart from Braden Daniel. Wessendorf again has just gone off the boil. No goals in the last couple of games. Parker managed to score once, I think it was, but again, not changing things. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but that is a position we are going to need to strengthen. But let's get into the game. Braden Daniel's obviously lacking match sharpness because, of course, he hasn't been playing for us with how good Jack Birney is. But this is his chance. This is his time to shine and almost solidify why he should be considered our first choice replacement for either of our wingers. We're going to say our home form is important to us. We are actually 10 games unbeaten at home. Hopefully we can carry on making the MG Group Stadium our fortress. Pick up obviously the 3 points. What that actually means in terms of the league, we are sitting 3rd in the league. I'll show you quickly now. 3rd in the league, but we are 6 points, well, depending on obviously what happens in today's game, 6 or 7 points off that title winning challenge. We just got to carry on doing what we're doing. You know, like I said, we weren't dibbed to finish anywhere near here, so we were sort of dibbed to finish in relegation by the media. The board wanted us to sort of finish mid-table. I suppose the board are never going to say, oh well, we want you to get relegated, right? They might say battle relegation, but at least it's something that we are overachieving on, I would say. But so far, not a single shot registered on target, and we're at home, which is great. I mean, all that talk about it being an absolute fortress hasn't obviously paid off right now. 14 minutes played. We are obviously getting back into the game a little bit more now, starting to find our feet after that initial flurry from South Shields. Long goal kick downfield from them. Francis and Johnson have got that sort of red all day long. They're not going to be beaten by that, but Ashby, that's a weak pass. The good news is Aliki is on his way back. He's back into training. I just don't want to rush him in too soon. But hopefully we'll be seeing them surging runs from him soon. Canis absolutely waved at that, flapped around with it and managed to, luckily, the centre-back covered it for him. But that's not a good sign if that's the sort of game that he's going to have today. 21 minutes played. Still 0-0. So far, still holding on to that third spot. Chester obviously must be winning because they've gone 2 points behind us. That's the thing. Even though we are sort of chasing first and second, I really want to just get a points gap between us and the playoff positions. Currently, it would mean if we drop down, we'll have to obviously lose a little bit of ground to drop out of the playoffs. But still, we need to make sure we're still winning games, especially like this, especially against a team like South Shields. They're underperforming in the league. And that's where we need to be making sure, along with our home advantage, that we take full advantage of that. Macclesfield here on the edge of the area. Into Ashby. Ashby with a curler. Ooh, the goalkeeper had it red. It goes out for a corner. Are we going to see the corner? Of course we're not, because we do not score from corners. Let's encourage the boys again. Get them to get at it a little bit more. Just want to see something just that little bit different. We need that cutting edge. It's good to see Daniel and Macclesfield at least having highest ratings or higher ratings than what we've had recently. Tell Westendorf to shoot less often. That is the tale of the season, isn't it? Literally telling our striker to not have shots. I mean, if that's not a sign that is worrying, I don't know what is. We need to be getting rid of this. It's added pressure. Camus tips it onto the crossbar, does he? Or does it just hit the crossbar and go out? No, it hits the crossbar and goes out. We'll take that. So 0-0 at half-time. I'm going to say our shooting hasn't been good enough. I mean, I don't know why you're stressed because it's not really got anything to do with you. I'm mainly sort of hinting at these four boys here saying, come on, you are not doing well enough. We are going to take, I think, Westendorf off as well. We'll bring Parker on just to try and give it a little bit more. Do we bring on Lawson for Clark? I don't know. Not playing well. It's not his favourite position either. Let's give Lawson another try. If he doesn't perform or doesn't turn up in this game or at least get a 7 rating, I don't know if he's going to have much more of a future at the club. We can't send him back because, of course, we've got Birney out. But once Birney comes back fit and if Daniel carries on the way he is, then Braden Daniel will be taking Lawson's spot in terms of that sub. And that does then free up some wage budget because we are paying a little bit of wages for Lawson, I believe. Highlight for them. Long drawn out highlight. I mean, we're fine with them having the ball deep into our half. Or not deep into our half, but you know what I mean. They're just knocking it around. That's not good to see though. Rudy is definitely... We're lucky they've hit the crossbar post there. They've hit the crossbar now, hit the post, and then they've tapped it in. This is not good. We can't be losing against a team like this. We might have to switch this up and go positive because balanced, we're just not getting into them enough. They're just knocking it around for fun now. They're taking the mick out of you boys. What are you going to do? Show a bit of teeth and a bit of grit. We're getting knocked in behind again. Oh. We're on a low block as well. We shouldn't be getting... The ball should not be getting around like that. Right, we need to change it. We need to get some more attacking flair into the game. Unfortunately, with Lawson up front and Parker, who sometimes plays, sometimes doesn't play, you know, potentially a good idea, but at least just knock it over the top. Braden Daniel's got the pace to get onto it. You don't need to be playing that on the ground to be intercepted like that. Daniel, lovely tackle in, but unfortunately the loose ball just falls to their player. At least he tracks back and he does get the tackles in. Lawson's doing absolutely nothing. We've not seen a single highlight of him involved yet. We're just letting them play around us. I don't know why, because we don't play like this. We're going to demand more. I feel like the game is over at 3-0 at 60 minutes, but there's not much more we can do right now. We don't have anything else on the bench. Does mean the gap now to the league title goes to 9 points, but still claw it back. I feel like a lot of teams I'm coming up to against now are playing in this 4-2-3-1, so maybe we might need to consider agreeing with that tactic and maybe sort of playing like a 4-3-3. Not have McEachran so far up the field so he can get back into that middle and sort of overload the middle of the park a little bit. There's not much more we can do with the defence. We've just got to hope that they switch on, and we've just got 4-0 down at home. We were singing about how we've been unbeaten in 10. It's a fortress for us. And the fortress has most certainly been destroyed in this game. 4-0 down. Could be 5. Could be 5. Rudy finally does something defensively that's worth seeing. Hunt and Johnson just get confused with it, and you don't usually see that. It's affecting Johnson now, which is bad. Lawson, what's he going to do with it? Probably nothing. Passes it out for a throw-in. Passes the ball out for a throw-in. That just sums him up. We need Jack Bienney back ASAP. Can we get one back? At least give the fans something to cheer on. Braden Daniel into Parker. Just think. Point blank range header. This is an absolute shocking result. It still keeps us third, which is good. But as we can see, we're only 4 points now from dropping out of the playoffs. That Spennymoor last minute goal actually might drop us down to 4th. I think the most annoying thing about this result is obviously not picking up the 3 points, but also in the manner. Losing 4-0, that's going to just destroy the goal difference that we've worked so hard on building up. Turner into Lawson. Lawson just, yeah. Was we expecting a goal there from him? Let's be honest, probably not. 6.2 and a 6.1 rating. The 2 subs have done absolutely nothing since they've come on. We would have been better off just leaving the players on the pitch that were here. Shambles. Absolutely shambles. What does that do to the league table? Yeah, that drops us down to 4th. So no, it was Chester that must have obviously got a last minute winner. Spennymoor won as well. So where we did have a 2-point gap at 3rd, that's been swallowed up pretty quickly. I'm just going to say, I want to do the old school throw the bottle and say how disappointed we are. I'm far from pleased from that. But there we have it. That's everything we're going to have in today's episode. Not a very good one, if we're being honest. 2 losses that we've seen. Luckily, we managed to pick up the wins in between, but there is something happening with them forward players. They're just not on song, and the defence is starting to get a little bit leaky. So it's not going to be a nice running as we thought it might be going into the end of the season. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Comment down below where you think we might actually end up finishing now. I was confident of potentially even going up as champions, but now that confidence has been shattered. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.